The best sports and racing games achieve one thing. They replicate what you expect the feel of being a sport or racing star in real life is, but in video game form. Achieving this feeling isn't exclusive to simulations either. Arcade-style sports games, as numerous on this list are, can give you that same sense of achievement, which makes this genre of video games so perennially popular. We've rounded up the best sports and racing games released in 2024 with an order tentatively picked from decent to best. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Developer KT Racing's most ambitious title to date has landed Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown a place on this rundown despite an onslaught of issues resulting predominantly from its always online requirement. First, the good. Solar Crown's Hong Kong open world is consistently complex and interesting, and the car feel, while not perfect, is a step up from Test Drive Unlimited 2. The bad, however, outweighs the good. Time-wasting bugs, server issues even when racing solely against the AI, and inconsistent, non-adjustable difficulty settings make Solar Crown a racer steeped in promise, but with much to fix. Top Spin 2K25. Tennis's most storied video game simulation returned this year after a 13-year-long hiatus. And yet, despite the break, Top Spin 2K25 is arguably the best-feeling tennis game ever created. From winding up powerful serves to doling feather-light drop shots, Top Spin 2K25 replicates the pace and technique of real-life tennis down to a T. There's a hefty tutorial mode to get seasoned pros and newcomers up to speed, and with a substantial, albeit occasionally grindy career, there's hours of on-court action awaiting any would-be racquetballer keen to climb the world rankings. F1 Manager 2024. If you'll excuse the golfing term, incremental iterations are par for the course in annual sports games, and F1 Manager 2024 exemplifies this notion perfectly. Yet this year, those minor changes, improved UI, more practical systems to manage team morale, and more dynamic sponsorship systems, to just name 3, make F1 Manager 2024 feel the most complete version to date. The heftiest innovation, though, is the new Create a Team function, which, beyond choosing team names and car liveries, offer strategic input from the engine manufacturer's choices and long-term goal setting. Aero GPX. Has it really been 20 years since the last F-Zero game? Not counting last year's Battle Royale adjacent F-Zero 99, anti-grav racers have become somewhat of a dying breed, with the legendary F-Zero series arguably the most dormant of any anti-grav series. Well, Aero GPX stepped in to fill this void this year, and despite being in early access, the genre's high-velocity speeding atop topsy-turvy tracks is present and correct. There's high hopes for Aero GPX, and it would rank higher on this list if scheduled content was already playable. EA Sports College Football 25. Capturing the euphoria-laden feel of college football is EA Sports College Football's 25's greatest success, with all its unique pageantry contributing to an incredibly well-presented football game. On-field action is matched by dynamic crowds that react proportionately to the fluid, fast-paced gameplay. College Football 25 arguably looks and plays better than its Madden counterpart, but its UI, on-field icons, and imperceptible in-play notifications relegate this to a package not quite up to standard. Still, it's a solid foundation that'll hopefully be built upon in subsequent college football entries. Top Racer Collection. The thrill of nostalgic 16-bit racing is back in this compendium of legendary Top Racer games, superbly packaged with a new entry, Top Racer Crossroads. For anyone unfamiliar, Top Racer is a nimbler 16-bit racer, less outrun, closer to Super Hang-On, but with a car feel largely its own. As is commonplace with retro assemblies like this, Top Racer Collection comes with a selection of filters replicating the CRT monitors of old, but the main draw here surely is online multiplayer, a feature unthinkable back in the day, but present here for any racers keen to recapture their youth with friends. MotoGP 24. Lacking significant updates on its previous year's iteration doesn't detract too much from MotoGP 24 from being a worthy choice for motorbike racing enthusiasts. There are some innovations of note though. New transfer markets, adaptive difficulty, and dedicated race stewards add incremental authenticity to this experience. And while MotoGP 23 isn't too dissimilar, MotoGP 24 does just enough to justify its existence. Despite being only minor in its improvement, it's arguably the best MotoGP game to date. F1 24. This year's Formula One game was met with a degree of negativity due to a perceived malfunctioning in rear-end handling, but these complaints came from esports racers. Normal folk who just want to blast around the world's most iconic tracks in the fastest race cars found lots to love and even grew to appreciate Codemaster's new handling model, if they were put off to begin with. High performance is all in the smooth, considerate driving and thoughtful car setups anyways, and once those elements are mastered, F1 24 represents one of the series' best entries in years. EA Sports NFL Madden 25. Every year Madden fans try to work out exactly what changed, and every year they come up stumped. Regardless of whether the under-the-hood changes are significant, the question really is, does this year's version feel good to play? And the answer with EA Sports NFL Madden 25 is yes. Yes, Madden 25 feels good, and this is largely due to the new on-field boom tech, which adds newfound impact and unpredictability to tackle and collision animations. Off-field problems persist, but Madden 25 is, like numerous sports games released this year, the franchise's best entry for a few years. MLB The Show 24. Another sports entry on this rundown that met with mixed reviews from its players. Critics loved it, however, citing the experience's approachability to a range of pitching, fielding, and batting actions, giving anyone of any skill level the chance to experience the epicness of baseball for real life. With ample story modes, including the seminal Negro Leagues, baseball's grand history becomes a celebration that other sports franchises would do well to replicate. Drive Rally. Nailing the spirit of Rally's 1990s heyday, Drive Rally is a nostalgic trip through dusky tracks, frozen tundra, and enchanted forest that's quite unlike any of Codemaster's Rally-adjacent offerings. Principal in Drive Rally's appeal, though, is the forgiving handling, adding an important element of approachability which benefits the appeal of its arcade sensibilities. The game is in early access until summer next year, while the developers craft new content and address the balancing issues. As it stands, though, Drive Rally is fantastic, one of the finest arcade-style racing games to release in years. NBA 2K25. Microtransactions plague annual sports titles, with NBA 2K25 being arguably the worst offender year on year. Ignore this though, and what you've got is an incredible basketball sim rife with authentic feel thanks to this year's newly implemented dribbling physics. My career has been overhauled somewhat as well, with worthy additions to My Team and My GM making NBA 2K25 an essential purchase for any NBA fanatic. It's just a shame that those long-term embedded pay-to-win tactics are not shifting. New Star GP. Don't be put off by the polygonal graphics. New Star GP is an absolute blast. In an era where Codemasters have been quietly attempting to perfect the balance between on-track racing and team management, it's bizarre that an arcade racer, seen as a de-evolution in many eyes, has perfected video game racing so succinctly. Managing your own motorsport team, guiding their technological development, planning your racing strategy, taking the wheel, and driving to victory in New Star GP is a masterclass in how simulation-equivalent racing games should perform. WWE 2K24. Incremental changes to gameplay again, but WWE 2K24 is hands down the best wrestling game ever created. Some grievances with Showcase mode aside, WWE 2K24 delivers a pinnacle showcase with excellent new match types including casket and ambulance matches, fantastic storylines in My Rise, and an expansive roster stuffed with wrestlers, some of which look like mirror images of the real-life counterparts, cement this entry as the best. EA Sports FC 25. What's notable about this year's iteration is how close the game gets you to feeling like a true Maradona-esque genius on the field. Insert your favorite footballing genius here. This year's new feature is FC IQ, which gives you intricate control over your team's mentality, allowing you to tweak your build-up in real time, while the overhauled animations grant new visages of expressiveness that's been too often missing from literally every football game ever made. EA Sports FC 25 is, for once, top bins.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.